power Sulfuras can keep Ragnaros in the fight for an extended period of time. It also causes his next basic attack to become instant, allowing him to deliver powerful burst damage if its use is well timed. Living Meteor can be used to poke and chase fleeing enemies, or to punish enemies who are chasing you. Use Blast Wave to initiate, disengage, or to secure a kill with the support of an ally.
Welcome back to HGC NA, where we are ready for the next game, game number 4. And BStep, having lost the last game on Battlefield of Eternity versus Team Freedom, has opted to take the Battleground choice instead. So they chose Tomb of the Spider Queen, and now we're in the middle of the draft.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up something really weird since we're looking at history. Rexar.
Yeah, man.
Rexar Tyrande.
On Tomb.
On Tomb. Is that a thing? Is that where we're going? It feels like it's where we're going. It's that kind of day.
Yeah, BStep have just like, let's give everyone a history lesson of where we've started in Heroes of the Storm.
I'm surprised they didn't start with Gazlo Zeratul, because that was the original, you know, the real OGs.
Nobody wants to bring that one back out.
Then we went to double Asmo when Abathur had the opportunity to use Asmodan's ult, and that was a lot of fun. Double Demonic Invasion, goodbye Keeps and Core within 5 minutes in the game. It just got, you know, weirder and weirder. They might even bust out the old school when Nova was a thing. Who knows? Diablo and Rhaegar. Although when they did run the Tyrande Rexar composition, they always ran it with a Murden, I believe. Not just Rexar to be able to get the initiation. It was I don't think it was Diablo. So maybe I got a little, you know, overhyped there. A very early Rhaegar rotation, though, for BStep, showing they have heavy priority to be able to want to have that hero.
Yeah, after Team Freedom have banned Malfurion and then did not take a support, still wanting to have their Ragnaros. BStep says, fine, we'll just make sure we get our support in this rotation anyway. So not giving away too much, other than they know that they want Diablo as their warrior, which can make Team Freedom scared of things that would combo along with Diablo. Now Freedom have 2 more choices.
I wouldn't mind something like a Gul'dan in this rotation. I don't think it's going to happen. Vala is still available. Tychus is going to be what Freedom goes with, though, because they're Freedom and they just Tychus. And then they're going to, what, ETC? Or are they going to change that up? They go with Gul'dan. It's a little bit of a hybrid there. Now showing that they picked 3 of their DPS. 2 of the backliners. Might be something that Freedom, or excuse me, BStep may look to exploit when it comes to the supporting. I doubt they're going to ban the Ariel purely based on the fact that they want that Chromie.
For future reference, the last time Team Freedom played on Tomb, which was versus Naventek, the follow-up was Lieutenant Morales as a support for Gul'dan. Tychus was there too, and then Thrall and ETC were the final choices. So Ragnaros is the only change-up in that so far.
So then you ban the medic. Don't even care what Freedom goes into. You know they're going to pick the Ariel later on. You last pick your Chromie. That's it. You go full Fnatic. It's on Tomb.
Oh! Someone else has done their homework too. There's Morales ban for BStep. Now Freedom. Do Freedom spot that? Say, well, we don't want to go up against Chromie now that we have to take...
Yeah, you would. If they're afraid of it.
They
I don't know.
highlighted it
I don't know.
last time, but I couldn't tell if it was trolling or not because they also highlighted Murky.
It was probably drawn. You know, I don't know much, but I think I know trolling when I see it.
No, I think it was a little troll. It's just they haven't seen the Chromie yet, right? If these guys didn't practice and knowing that they were going to face one another, BStep's one of the few teams running Chromie.
Yeah, but Chromie, BStep have run her twice.
Yes, but they've never faced it themselves. It's different. You can see, it's the same reason you can watch, take any player from all over the world, show them a different regions draft, like anywhere that's not Chinese, show them a Chinese draft and you'll be like, what were they thinking? Why is this happening? I could easily handle that draft. Suddenly when they actually go against it, well, apparently they are afraid of it. I'm just saying, until you feel the wrath of Chromie yourself, you never know how big or small it's really going to be.
All right, now BStep, what do they want to choose here? Damage dealers, another frontliner, maybe a Rexar.
I mean, Thrall, I think, is a must for them.
Are they going to Tyrande again here on Tomb? They really need wave clear?
I really hope they don't, but they might. I mean, that's the place where they got the most success. I think it's going to be Thrall and then probably the Vala. Nope, they go with the Sylve instead. Which means no Tronda. I guess I haven't, that might not totally be true, but probably no Tronda.
Last 2 picks for Freedom.
Ariel.
We think Ariel for support.
Yeah, Ariel is almost 100%. And then Warrior should be Johanna, maybe not. Who would be the best Warrior? I don't think ETC.
Why don't you like ETC here?
Just because it does nothing in the format. They don't need any kill potential. It's something that I think would be pretty vulnerable as the game moves on too, into the Earthquake style combo. So I would rather Murden even over that. They go with Johanna. The only reason I didn't want to go with Johanna was purely on, I've always criticized Johanna's value as a peeler overall, but more than anything, Gul'dan has more than enough wave clear that they don't necessarily need her. It's not going to hurt. And you know, one of the few things you can't have too much of in Heroes is wave clear.
And she has a sort of self-cleanse.
Yeah.
For issues as well. She can pull people in to allow Gul'dan to get more stacks from Echoed Corruption. Build that up. Final pick over on the other side, the red side for BStep.
Jaina.
And the history of Heroes heads to Jaina.
And I'm going to just throw something out.
Okay.
Mind control. Why wouldn't you in this game? There's almost zero reason not to, especially with no ATC. Because
you could Wailing Arrow Ariel in the back and she can't Crystal Aegis?
Or you could just mind control all day and nobody can do anything about it. It's almost like Chromie. It's forcing them back into a specific position and you have to force the Aegis. It's a very short cooldown. You can just bust it out, walk away. If you don't get anything, you force the Aegis. If you did get something, you win the video game. It's like a soft Chromie. It's one of the few moments where I'll actually advocate for that heroic as an opportunity in this game. I don't think it's a must pick, but I don't look at that as like, oh, they're all going to be clumped. Here's a huge Wailing Arrow. Oh, it's just look for the picks. They have a very squishy backline. Johanna's the only one who can really move up to be able to get the interrupt. The only counter argument might be, I mean, Ragnaros Sophia Smash while you're standing still is going to hurt.
Yeah, also
I mean, there's a couple others, but hey, you know, I want to believe. These drafts have gotten crazier than this. You know, I'm throwing out mid-tier crazy. They were on the top for a moment.
Let's head into the game and see if that's actually going to be something that BStep use here on Tomb.
I mean, it could be worse. I could have suggested possession when that was the thing.
Honestly, the one time I've seen mind control in a competitive professional Heroes of the Storm game was by MVP Black.
Okay, and it was
versus Tracer.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'm safe behind my gate. Now I'm not. Now I'm dead.
Yeah, and it's this is gonna hurt. You still get her passive. You still get everything else cool about her.
I don't know. There's just so many people from Freedom have grouped up enough before to also make Wailing Arrow a nice opportunity. Besides the fact that it's just the norm.
No, it is very easy to be able to focus onto Ariel too with the Wailing. But I'm just trying to say, it's one of the few moments where I would look at that. If I was playing this Hero League game and I'm BStep's draft, I would take a minute and be like, I might just mind control right now. That being said, I've actually never mind controlled in a game in my life. So that's a pretty bold statement.
Another bold statement is Collusion's Ariel going Searing Light at level 1.
I like it. I think I personally, my favorite audio build is into W, EW, and then obviously all the rest. It's pretty, normal. But I think the 7W is a must-have, the cooldown reduction there. The damage at 1, I think you can make for some cool plays, especially with people being stacked on top of one another. And I like just like the little DPS. It doesn't seem like much at first, and it really isn't, especially in wave clear. But when you look at your numbers at the end of the game, you're always kind of impressed with yourself, what you managed to put out.
Plus, it's not like it's a situation of wanting Blinding Flash that badly, where you want to build into your sweep later on. It's Jaina and Sylvanas as the backline. Thrall, be nice for him, but still instead being able to do some damage along with the rest of the team. Beautiful Detainment Strike. That's going to be the end of King Caffeine.
Yeah, very well done there by Collusion on the Ariel. We'll see what he picks up at level 4, see if that gets any better. The playmaking potential there with the Detainment Strikes.
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about repeated defense to get more damage, or are you talking about heavy burden for the slow?
I personally like the idea of getting this done, but I also realize it's pretty unrealistic most of the time, especially with only having a Johanna setup. That makes me, oh goodness, that makes me feel like you should go for the slow just because it's safe. But if you ever have a really, really good setup, I do like the idea of eventually moving into getting that DPS. So I would expect the slow.
There's a lot of places here on Tomb, since people group around inside of the turn-in points, where you could argue for that. It's not going to be that. It will be heavy burden instead. So that's giving a 40% slow off of Detainment Strike.
I think you have to have a better setup. I like it. I like the idea of it. Just on this map, you have to have like more than just Johanna, because Condemn isn't necessarily the best setup, and you can't really rely on Flesh and Shield for this is how I'm going to stack a quest talent. But for now, wave clear as always prominent here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Talents, everything you'd expect. Tychus moved into in the rhythm. And, you know, that's really it. That's the only wild adjustment. Increased mana tap, or improved life tap.
That's the one that I thought was a bit interesting. Consume Soul can help you clear out waves a lot more, or even having health funnel too. But in this case, making sure that he has as much mana as he can to keep throwing out all of his abilities is important.
I really like improved life tap. I actually probably is my preferred level 4. In most situations,
yeah, it seems
when
like
looking at him.
It seems like a lot of NA is moving to that way too.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really safe. All the other ones I think are a little situational, and I can see the justification depending on compositions. But as a staple standard, I would definitely put improved life tap there for Gul'dan at 4. Camp has been picked up by BStep on bottom, sticking to that 2-1-2 playstyle they feel so fondly of.
That'll be cleared out fast, and then Freedom can continue rotations. But meanwhile, BStep are using this time to start toward their first turn-in of the game. Up on top, King Caffeine's going to jump in. Sucklove is fairly far from the rest of the team, but still has Iron Skin, and that is its usage. And meanwhile, the rest of the team are making short work of Diablo, so a second kill for Freedom.
Yeah, once again, a shadow charge in, no Diablo out. It's a very common trend there with From the Shadows. I absolutely love the name of that spell. All I can imagine is just like, I don't know, some dweeby little dude going like, from the shadows, because every time we see Diablo strike from the shadows, he's the one being struck, it feels like. Good interrupt there by McIntyre. Ooh, McIntyre's 4. Interesting choice on Sylv, going into the Withering Barrage, increasing the charges by 1, but can be fired faster.
And
more team fight focus, infinite less disabling. When it comes to the passive. So that's, I definitely would have gone out with cooldown on W. The reset value of that and the disabling is absolutely holy cow good. But this post 13, this build will have more kill potential onto backline.
And now it's paired with Barbed Shot, so more damage to minions, mercenaries, and monsters to allow Sylvanas to clear even faster. But here are the first Web Weavers. Team Freedom gets towers up in the mid lane and then rotates to top to do the same. Just trying to get as much experience as fast as they can to look toward heroic abilities in a second turn-in phase where they can really start to bring down keeps and remove more and more structures from BStep.
Yeah, there goes King Caffeine enjoying his engagement there with the Shadow Charge. Nasmus eating, doing the damage there, popping his passive in the rhythm, getting its stacks. Always good whenever you can make that happen. And that's going to be at the end of the phase. Only a couple of front walls taking very good response on the side of BStep. They have enough for their own counter turn in here. We'll see if Freedom gives them the freedom to be able to do that.
There's a little bit of time for BStep to get that turn in. And another nice usage for Collusion having his damage on his Ray of Heaven, Searing Light at 1, is that he can use that as an interrupt as well. So it not only helps out in the damage output for the team overall, but more interrupts that are from a safe distance is always nice to have on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Here goes the attempt of channel from APM. Gonna be interrupted there by the E on Gul'dan. Dansky sitting at halfway through, a little above average, or above halfway, excuse me, on the Echo Corruption at 1.
Charles moving up, so this would be a 5v4. Team Freedom realized this and step back just slightly, still keeping an eye on that top turn-in point, making sure that nobody is being sneaky with their gems. But Thrall has moved down into the bottom lane, and this rotation in is followed by Team Freedom. They get the stall in time, so great job from Team Freedom, reading exactly the decision-making from BStep, and whereas they had to stall for a full level, now Team Freedom have gotten heroic abilities and can take a break from that.
See where BStep goes with their heroics. APM starts the channel, gets a little afraid, realizing that Freedom's going to be sniffing pretty close to that. The channel is going to be attempted here. I don't think that's enough to be able to finish. It was exactly enough to be able to finish there for Freedom. They're going to have the Web Weavers.
Oh my gosh.
Called it,
I
baby!
cannot believe.
Oh, that's a mind control! I just want everybody to know at home that I see where this is going, but I still am not a huge advocate of mind control. We'll see if it works. The range has got to be huge. I want to be impressed. I like the idea. I'm just really scared that it's just not going to look good.
Surely Freedom have checked, right? They have checked and they know.
They're about to know when they hear that.
I know,
that
but
weird,
they have checked before that too, because they're about to siege into the team. They could just kill him.
Oh, the Ancestral is going to be able to keep on.
Someone's
there it goes.
going to go down. Someone's going down.
Mind control. The APOC in the ring is going to kill Freedom. Nilgrug is now onto the retreat. Haunted Wave to be able to move forward. There is a Web Weaver on top and on bottom. Pushing in here, so BStep's going to have to attend to those. Oh, man. It feels good. It feels good, man. Like, it feels... Honestly, it feels good and it feels bad all at the same time.
I was going to ask, but then I was just going to let you have it. Have your victory. What a play from BStep here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. The second competitive heroes mind control I have ever seen in my life.
The best you've ever seen in your life. I don't care if
it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I'm sorry, it's hard to be MVP Black.
That's true. I'll put it this way. Obviously, it's exciting to see this come out, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's as good as Chromie.
I didn't get Chromie.
No, I'm just saying for compared to Fnatic's approach to this, I think it's a nice alternative to go into the mind control. But I haven't seen enough mind control to have an answer. I've seen enough Chromie. I have not seen enough. I don't think it's as proper as the Chromie, but we'll find out. BStep here. I still would suggest F4. No matter what build you go, I would look towards that W the Siege. Mind control, baby.
He is gone. Maybe not. Sulfur Smash goes down. Could not move back. King Caffeine was quick on the uptake to make sure that he could jump in and take Insomnia for a ride. That's down. No Ragnaros to be able to defend is huge too, especially with Sylvanas here.
Just casual mind control. Get a kill. Walk towards mid. Disable everything here. Gul'dan on Echo Corruption. He is completed his stacks now. Everything else, Ragnaros has finished both of his stacking talents. Nobody else has any quests here.
No Icy Veins for Jaina at level 13, instead getting Ice Barrier for a little extra safety.
It really helps for flanks with Jaina going into the Ice Barrier.
What a surprise. K1 Pro wants to make more flanks.
Yes, it does help a little bit. It allows that 1v1 where if mind control happens somewhere and then you backdoor and look for a hard, there's going to be another mind control after the disable. Oh, beautiful cleanse, right? No, it was going to be, yeah, it wasn't used a cleanse actually. I thought for a second he took Will of the Forsaken, but no, he went with Windrunner. So good cleanse there is going to be the peel off the Blessed Shield. Insomnia, Burnt Molten Core. He should be able to rid of the Web Weaver on bottom with that. The question is a mind control play going to come into play before that? In fact, it will.
Yeah, it's going to be on Odin. They've already used a lot. Bring a Frost to follow up too. It hits 2, but Zugrug and the rest have done enough, at least for now, to stave this off. But the follow-up, more Apocalypse, the constant Apocalypse and damage from all of BStep finally net them a kill on Gul'dan. Very good patience and timing with all of their abilities to ensure that they still got a kill even after the first mind control did not work.
Yeah, that was very well done. The Aegis, I would say a little bit more patient there. Gul'dan typically is going to have very aggressive positioning, and it puts it in a position where Aegis is the only support heroic where when you use it to be able to save someone, depending on if you, not the HP, but also their location can hurt them. And since Gul'dan was so far out, it leads for a very easy rotation because you can't even cancel it early to be able to aid. Although that would be pretty nifty if you could. But for now, it is a downfall and a struggle here for Freedom.
But BStep have done exactly what they needed to do with that second turn-in. They took all the forts down, so they got all that they wanted with their second turn-in.
And more importantly, they just mind-controlled their opponents and make them walk into them. This is the thing.
Yes.
This is the response.
Now, Team Freedom don't get a situation like we did in the first game where they said, oh, we can't play versus Tronda. We'll check one more time. No, we still can't play versus Tronda. Now we have to ban it out. This is now or never. It is for Team Freedom. They have to figure out what they need to do with their comp as they have now to adapt to BStep, or they are going to lose this series.
Yeah, it's very crucial for them, and it will hinder their ability to really, be able to qualify for one of those clashes if they fail to be able to take out BStep here. BStep has now picked up 16. They've got 48 gems, 34 on Freedom's hands. They're going to be able to turn those in, not risking losing those later on.
Coming Blast to give more lockdown after somebody's mind controlled out. As if they needed it. They've got a root from Thrall and Apocalypse too, should they need it. Slows from Rhaegar, and they'll even add Earth Grasp Totem just to make sure that whoever comes out to join BStep when they're mind controlled will get taken out.
Yeah, and then it's also allowing, Sylvanas going into the vulnerability there at 16 with her Cold Embrace is going to be able to put it to where anybody who gets mind controlled most likely is going to be dead. And if not, Aegis is going to be forced to use, putting them out of position. The Web Weaver's now going to be pushing in. Is 16 still not available for Freedom?
Repelling Strike might help, might be the difference that's needed for Ariel. Knocks a further knockback off of Detainment Strike to buy time after mind control or whatever is happening. But the real problem is that it's another Web Weaver phase. BStep have been constant with their damage and their pressure to Team Freedom, but Freedom are almost to 16. They use Molten Core in mid. That's going to make BStep move around to the top. That's where they would like to get the first keep down anyway, because that's where Boss will be pushing. But if Freedom can somehow keep all of their keeps alive, then they're at 16 and maybe they can start their own fight.
See if that's going to be the case. 16's been achieved. Ragnaros is still clearing on bottom. Dansky throwing out the Qs, trying to do as much damage as possible. McIntyre always got to be looking at him for when that mind control is going to come into play. The Web Weavers now have managed to be able to be cleared. It looks like Freedom is trying to move up and start a fight. Good Isolance there from K1 Pro to be able to peel a little bit for his team, get the slow out. There's a turn-in available for Freedom in a couple of seconds. None available for BStep, same talent here. Very split. There's going to be the mind control, the pin against the wall. That is going to be Aegis, but he's going to come out right into an Apocalypse.
And he go down right after that. Dansky comes in with Horrify, but it's a little too late to save the life of Ariel, and Johanna dies too. Ancestral Healing connects to keep King Caffeine alive, and now Insomnia once again comes in and says, wait, where's all my friends? Okay, now I have to leave. So 2 people remain for Team Freedom, trying to defend versus a Sylvanas push from all 5 members of BStep. They're bringing down the keep very quickly. If we see them start to move around, they could look at core 2. It looks like they're not that confident in their ability to end the game just yet, but their lead grows and grows in the series.
Yeah, it's almost out of reach now for Team Freedom, as with those deaths, they also lost a majority of their gems, now only halfway to the ability to be able to get the turn in here. And the fact that Boss is going to be up, I can't help but feel like if BStep manages to be able to pick up that 20 talent tier advantage, they will be very comfortable in baiting it and just using a mind control again, get a pick, and then look for the game. Freedom, oh man, this has been such a creative and weird series. Not only when it comes to the drafts, but then just considering the fact that not only did BStep, again, considered, with their performances so far, would you say that Freedom should be able to get this upset, but then BStep is not only obviously beating, at least so far, Freedom, but more than anything, it's how they're doing it. Not only in draft, but talent, like their talent tiers ahead. It's not like a close fight and they turned it around. It is, BStep is literally 3 to 4 level leading them in every game they win.
Yeah, it seems like such a different team than we've seen from past series from BStep. But again, BStep did go up against tough competition earlier on in HGC NA, and now showing why they're the kings of flexibility. They have 3 members who at one point won a BlizzCon.
Yeah. And they're very scary players to be able to deal with here. Odin has been dropped. Boss is now pushing. Mind Control is going to say, we'll bring Odin our way, forcing the Blessed Shield. Ring of Frost is going to be used. Aegis is going to be used. APOC, though, is going to land instantly, removing one member here. Now that is going to be 2 in Johanna in a couple of seconds. K1 Pro, McIntyre, King Caffeine, APM, and iDream all now look towards Insomnia to Collusion. Anybody and everybody they can get their hands on, because one more, and this might be game as they instantly move towards mid, even getting the bolt there as 20's picked up. 5-0 wipe. Mind Control into a GG.
BStep have annihilated Team Freedom here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They take down the underdogs. Team Freedom started their miracle run with Gale Force Esports and Aventic, but BStep will stop it right here and claim the victory in this series of the Heroes Global Championship.
Everything, it's just been a roller coaster. It has been an absolute roller coaster. HGC, not just even today, it's just been HGC. It started with, oh, look at, we got Cloud9 members, you just BStep, so much hype, underperforming. And then you're like, Freedom, bunch of, new guys, how's this going to go? Suddenly it's like, oh, this is the moment, we've got a shot. It just, so many stories have been unpredictable. Not a single person outside of Templestorm. Templestorm is the only team that even them, debatably, there has been fluctuation, but they are the closest to what you would expect versus how actual performance have had. Every other team in HGC North America after week number 3 is at least 2 positions different than most people would predict.
Yeah.
At least 2. That is insane. We have never had that in North America, ever had that kind of fluctuation. I'm trying to understand if, I'm just trying to, from the analyst perspective, like, why is it that way?
Well, you have to look at the format, right? It's not this tournament where everyone comes in, plays all their games, and goes home.
Yeah.
And you rely on who has better land presence, who shows up on lands, who has been preparing the most for this. Instead, you take your win or your loss, you move back, you prepare for your next match or matches in a weekend, like Teammate going up against Tempo and Gale Force Esports. So it's a much different format, and it's producing much different results.
I guess, yeah, that's got to be it. Either way, BStep is going to be able to pull ahead here, getting their very first win so far at HGC North America, so very well earned.
Actually, it's their second.
So, second. Who's the first and 2? I forgot.
No Tomorrow.
There we go. So into No Tomorrow, and now being able to beat it's still crazy to think that they beat Team Freedom, because I thought for sure this series was going to be 3-0, done, Team Freedom. And the fact that it goes 3-1, and we saw Mind Control, double Toronto compositions. I just don't know how well this for BStep is going to carry over to other days and other weeks. I think a lot of this was the lack of experience on the side of Freedom, not knowing what they were looking for in their opponents and the proper response to be able to deal with it. And then obviously the creativity coming out in game number 4 with the Mind Control was just something they didn't have the answer for. And if they were a more experienced team, maybe, or at least to be able to deal with Toronto in game number 2.
Now that puts BStep at, a 2-3 record? And I think that is tied with Team Freedom as well. Man, things are very crazy in the standings. We'll probably get to see that a little bit later on. But for now, we have McIntyre on the phone. Hey, Mac, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I got to ask the obvious question. Talk us through Mind Control, please.
So I think the Mind Control was a tech because of the Chromie pick. When they banned Chromie, you can Mind Control against Ariel, and she has to Aegis. And if she Aegises, then you engage on the Aegis. So it's like it's a little spicy talent. Shout outs to EU for bringing it up, but I'm glad we got to use it today.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome to really kind of see you guys, be able to break that out, and not only that, be successful with it. So now I've got to ask the question about the Tyrande. Obviously, the prevalence of her for your game number 1 and 2. Number 1 didn't seem like Freedom had the idea that it was coming into play, but in game number 2, still very successful. Do you guys think that she has a place on other maps than obviously other than BOE and outside of the variant, because you ran it with the Muradin and still had the success?
I think Tyrande is pretty good because she's an extension, like when you have a Varian, for example, right, and he's a high tier pick right now, she just extends that stun lock even further. So all the damage should follow up, all the damage should connect, the mark should get value. So I think she has a place somewhere in the meta, and our team kind of tried to figure out if she does. And today, I think we showed her off and she had a really good showing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, far better, I think, anybody else expected, and the fact that she was successful in both the games, even without the variant.
Absolutely.
Mac, you guys started out, had a rough start to the season. How would you say your improvement has been going as a team, and comparing maybe your last couple of series this weekend to the start of HGC?
Well, we're not as washed up as people think we are. Shout out to Freedom. We just had a rough start because we had a hard time with the meta. We just really couldn't get a grasp on it. We didn't know where Rag was at. I think a lot of our games we gave away wins because of the draft. And in Heroes right now, draft is, I would say, 60% of the game, 40% is the play. So when we tightened our draft up and kind of got creative and used the BStep spice, as we did today, it's really started working in our favor. So I'm glad that we've come together as a team, and we're really trying to show that we can be a top team in NA.
It's good to see you guys coming together as a team, too. You added the BStep spice. Up next, you're going to be going up against another team that adds spice to their drafts, and that's Superstars. Any thoughts on that matchup?
Shit, as long as Stray goes Stray, we should be all right. So hopefully he just keeps doing what he's doing, and we shouldn't have that many problems.
All right. Well, congratulations on your win here. Any shout-outs before we go?
Shout-outs to my team. Shout-outs to my family. And that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Mac. Congrats again.
Thanks.
All right, we're ready to take a look at our updated standings now that BStep has secured a second series win, finally finding their stride here in Week 3. Tempo Storm, Team 8, both with 4 wins, but Tempo Storm, with that win over Team 8, takes the victory at the top of NA, at least for now. Superstars and Gale Force Esports are up next. BStep now rising above Team Freedom because they do have the victory over Team Freedom.
Team Freedom just went from being 1 win away from going to 3rd place, and then by losing that, dropping all the way down to 6th.
It's a tough ride, man.
It's tough. It's the format here is very, very difficult for these players. And even then, Freedom, obviously, still shout-outs to the rise that they've been able to make towards the top of North America. Still expect to see them climb, but more than anything, the fact that we finally get to see, the creativity from BStep and the players that we expected to be overly dominant really kind of slowly coming to what I guess we just really, wanted at least out of them.
Absolutely. It's nice to see them finally moving up to that, especially showing off their flexibility like they did in this series.
Yeah.
Now let's look at Friday's schedule. We're going to have a few days off, but we'll be back with even more Heroes of the Storm action all next weekend long. And we're starting off Friday with Team Dignitas versus Playing Ducks and Misfits versus Be Genius in Europe. Then Tempo Storm takes on No Tomorrow and Team Naventic versus Superstars. Anything jump out to you there?
Other than, the team that's never lost versus the team that's yet to be able to get a win, I think that Tempo Storm is going to feel pretty comfortable there. I don't know why, but I'm actually kind of excited to see how Superstars versus Naventic plays out. Maybe from a drafting point of view, what they decide to, focus onto. Because, again, Superstars is known for their kind of own play style, but so is Naventic. And I do think Naventic probably will come out on top, but it could, I guess. Standing-wise, it shows that they're the weaker team. But the draft, I think, will be really cool to see how those play out.
Well, friends, that is all for us this weekend here at the Heroes Global Championship. Join us next weekend for even more Heroes action. We'll see you then.
Hello and welcome to the Heroes of the Dorm Heroic 4.
This was the future of esports that we imagined a few years ago.
Oh my god, it's huge out there.
At the last second.
This crowd is insane. They were lined up around the block.
This is a bloodbath. And going after the boss, that's going to be it. At the last second.
It was a mind-blowing experience.
Adrenaline rush.
Go, go, go!
The crowd's cheering.
It was crazy.
What is their main objective? To destroy their opponent's core and take home the ultimate prize.
Payment for their college education.
It changes your life.
The money's nice, but I just don't want to lose.
Heroes of the Dorm is for students.
College competition.
Collegiate rivalries.
1, 2, 3, UGA! Party them!
Heroes of the Dorm is always a little bit of a wild card. Who will we discover next?
Anyone can play, and that's what's so amazing about it.
3, 2, 1.
They might be going for a victory here. We're going on the court. We get court. We're on the court. The court is going down. It's gonna be GGG! Your champions! They are the heroes of the dorm!
It was crazy. It was insane. I loved every second of it. It's a really cool experience.
What do we have here? Let's get this promo tour started. Oh yeah, Lucio in the house. Oh, let's break it